Hi y'all, it's Charlene from the Crafty Art Shack, and we're back here today with another challenge video, and it is the Dollar Tree Christmas House Challenge put on by Christina's Crafty Life and Craftastic DIYs. Y'all go check out their channels. Now, we're going to get started at the craft desk and show you how we made our whole village out of Dollar Tree items and houses. And let's get on with the video because y'all see it in the background, so let's go. All right, y'all, this is a Dollar Tree Christmas house challenge brought to us by Christina's Crafty Life and Craftastic DIYs. There's also going to be a playlist listed in the description box below. Go check out those ladies on that playlist because they're doing some awesome crafts. And let's get on with the video. All right, now we were challenged to get houses from the Dollar Tree. I got some of these little construction houses that you see in this picture. There's also the little fire station and the airport. And we're going to turn these into, some of them are going to be the firehouse and the airport, but that little construction house, we're going to turn it into a cabin. So the first thing you're going to need is a little placemat like this one. I happen to find this one at the thrift store, and we're going to cut little pieces and make little wood slats to go all the way down the side of this little construction house. This is not even going to look like a construction house when we're done with it. Now you're going to trim, put all these pieces on. If they're not the same length, it doesn't matter, just as long as they're close. And then you can put a little strip down going down the other side. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to move to the front. And you're going to want to make sure that you cover up those little lights up at the top. I mean, not lights, but windows right there, because we don't need them for this piece. So I'll glue in pieces there, and I'll glue the other side on as well. Now I decided that I wanted to paint this black underneath right here where I'm gluing these on, and you'll want to use a multi-purpose paint so that it sticks to the plastic. You'll also want to paint that little piece above the roof line as well with black paint. Then you go back to gluing the rest of your pieces on. Now when I got to the little windows, I made sure that I went around the windows when I glued those pieces down. And then I made sure that I trimmed out each of the little windows with some of these pieces, and I'm scraping off the extra glue from the glue gun when I did that. Now I'm not worried about my doors because I'm going to make some little doors. Now I'm putting on that extra piece that was wider that came off my mat, and I'm making a little porch for this as well. And I'm going to put the little dowel rods in to make it have like the pillars on the porch. Then after I got the porch piece put on, I made me two little doors to stick in the front, and then I'm going to just take my Sharpie marker and make that little X on it like cabin, to make it look like cabin doors. And then after that I'll put on my little dowel rods, and this cabin is starting to shape up. Oh, it looks so cute. And here's where I'm taking my little Sharpie marker and I'm outlining my doors. I put little doorknobs on, and then I will make that little X pattern on the doors so it looks like a little cabin. Isn't this cute? Okay, then after that I'm going to put some snow on it and some glitter on the snow, and for that I'm going to use caulk. Now I'm going to just take some of this caulk from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to make it look like snow. Now you kind of want to layer it so that it looks like a natural snowfall and not just squirted up there on it. So you want to go through all of your pieces and make it look this way. We'll see more of that little house in a few minutes, but the next thing I did is I needed to make a little wood pile for my little guy that's collecting wood. And so, and my little guy, I got him from the Dollar Tree, from the whatever it's called, the cottage square or whatever. It's got the little village people. And so I am taking and gluing 3 of these together, and then I'm going to put snow on them and glitter on them so that they look like little logs that from where the guy cut down the tree. And I think I used a total of 6 little logs, and that's what you're going to do. And I made 2 stacks of these. And we'll see the rest of those in the final reveal. Now, what I'm doing here is this is a little sign that was with the village people thing. So this one had an open wire, and so I wanted to make sure that was covered up on both sides. And those lights actually do come on. So I'm putting a little bit of snow on this to make it match, all the pieces match, even though it has snow on it. And then I'll put some glitter on it, and we'll see this at the final reveal. Now the next thing I did is I took the little fire station because I wanted it to remain being the fire station. And I'm going to take some of these little sticks and I'm going to cover both sides and put a piece on the front. And I'll do the same for the airport to make it match the little cabin that I did, because this is up in the mountains somewhere. This is where I'm imagining this is at. Now I'm adding snow to it, and then I'm going to take my glitter and I'm going to sprinkle that on it. Now I don't put snow all over it, only in a few places and then across the top. And we'll see more of this in the reveal. Now here's our little airport, and I did the same thing with this as I did with the construction house and the fire station. So we'll see the rest of this one at the final reveal as well. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this little foam that I got from, my daughter had some construction stuff done on her house, and this was in some of their packing stuff with what they had done. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to make a tree, and I'm going to a freestanding tree, and I'm going to use those little glittered Dollar Tree trees, and I'm going to make me some little village trees, because I don't want all of them to be the evergreen trees. I wanted some of them to be different, so that's the reason why I'm doing this. And I'm just taking and shaping my foam. Now I'm going to show you on this one how I went about doing all the shaping, because I do mount those little houses we just made on some foam like this, and I don't want it to look square. I want it to look like a rock, and so I'm cutting out different pieces. And this foam, packing foam, happened to be black, and I was so excited when I saw it. I had to beg my son-in-law to let me have it. Now, after I got my foam shaped like I wanted it, I took my soldering iron and put a hole in it, and then I put caulk down in the foam, and then I just stuck it down in there, and then I added the more caulk around the edges of it and some glitter, and then this will be part of our village, and you'll see this at the final reveal. Now my little guy that has his hatchet and his little dog sitting there with him, what I'm doing is I'm making a place for him to stand on my little piece here. He's going to go with my tree and everything, and you'll see what he looks like at the final reveal. But I put it down in there because I wanted to make it so that the pieces, one, didn't set too high, and two, so that when I put my snow around it, it looks more natural. Now I do take some E600 glue and glue those in, along with putting in the now I'm getting ready to make a platform for the fire station and the airport. So what you're going to see me doing here is I'm cutting out the spot where my little lights that are going to light these two houses are going to sit. And I'm just going to use that with my soldering iron to cut it out. And then I'm also going to flip it over and do the carving out where the houses are going to be. Then after I do that, I'm going to flip it over, because that's where my little switch is going to sit, and I'm going to glue it in. Then I just kind of traced out where my little fire station was going, and I'm going to carve that out, as well as the one for the airport. Now, after I carved out where I wanted both of the buildings to go, I also put in little holes for the lights to be run from the bottom to the top so that they did not show on my piece. And then you see where that looks like a little road coming down? That's exactly what it is. I carved it out using my soldering iron just to make the road where I wanted it to. And I showed you the little holes where I'm threading my lights through. And I'll leave a certain amount of lights on that side, and then I'll go back through the other hole and do that. Now, at this point, you can glue your little on and off switch down. You want to make sure the screw side's up so that you can access the screws to change the battery. Now, after I have all the lighting in, then I'm going to go and take and put my little houses down, and I'm going to add the snow around it, and I'm checking to see which pieces I want to put up and how I want to arrange this. I add me some little Dollar Tree, those itty bitty trees to it in front of the fire station, and I'm going to continue to add trees to this piece so that when it's set up, and I always put glitter on while that caulking is still wet, because then it'll cause it to stick to it. And we will see the rest of this piece in the final reveal. Now, one more thing before we move on. I did get some of these little rocks from the Dollar Tree, and these are like mountain style rocks, and so I'm going to place them around all of my little houses, because you know, when you go to the mountains you see rocks. Okay, we've added various pieces of greenery. Now what I did here is I took some of that Dollar Tree black vinyl, and we're going to make a little road. Now I got this paint pen from Walmart, and it's supposed to be a white paint pen, and I'm going to make my little stripes going down the road with this. Okay, we'll see the rest of that piece at final reveal. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking a Jenga block, and I've cut me some little strips of cardboard, and I'm going to glue these to the Jenga block in various patterns so that it creates a brick wall. And then what I'm going to do after that is I'm going to wash it, or take black paint and water it down a lot to go over these first. Now here you see me, I've got black paint and I've watered it down, and I'm going to brush over all of this little fencing. Now you'll notice two of these pieces of fence have a little bead on a little bitty dowel rod. That's because I wanted to make that my gate entrance. So I'm going to paint all of these this color, and then I'm going to go back and dry brush them with white. And here I am dry brushing them with white to make them look like a little stone fence. After all of that dries, I put caulk and glitter on them for my snow. Now for our next houses, we're going to use these little doll houses. And we got these from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to take and cut this little piece off here because I want to stack them, because this is going to be my little toy shop. And then after I get all of that off of there, then I'm going to glue these two pieces together with some E600, and I'm going to clamp it and let it sit that way overnight so that it has a real good bond. Now while that's drying, we're going to move on to our next little project for this. We're going to take a piece of painter's stick and cut it into a square. Then I'm going to put a square cube on it that's a square bead from the Dollar Tree that has a hole in it. And then I'm going to stick a dowel rod down in it and glue it all down. Now I'm going to take a large bead, not too large. I don't know what size these are because they came off of some Dollar Tree project that I got. And I'm going to trim off the end of that toothpick. Now I'm using toothpicks. I'm using a large bead and a smaller bead. And then I'm going to take and put another small bead on the other end. I'm going to put some hot glue down, push it on, and then as soon as it dries, I'm going to clip that end off and make sure that that stayed glued in there. Now I'm going to set that aside. Now I've got a little piece of wire here that I got off of some other project. I don't remember which one it was. And I'm going to make me a little S hook so that I can hang my little snowflake. Now when we go to the mountains in Tennessee, they always have Winterfest when we go. And so this is what gave me the idea for this. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black paint, and this little part right here, all of this is going to get painted black. And we're going to paint the bottom piece all white. Now you don't have to paint that dowel rod all the way up, but you want to paint at least the base because that's where you're going to put your snow at. And if you miss any of it, then it'll show. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and add my snow with my caulk. So the next thing I'm going to do is I've got my caulk on there. Now you want to make this as natural looking as you can, and then I'm going to add some glitter. After I get that on there, the next thing I'm going to do is slide my little straw over my dowel rod. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take that piece that I painted black. Then I'm going to take and add glue to the top of my straw and to this little piece that I'm putting on. And you notice I didn't put it on there straight. You want to kind of angle it up. And then I had a little place where I touched it and the paint came off. But you want to do that, and then you want to take and put snow on this part to make it look realistic as well. And I'm going to put snowdrops on it. I'm going to cover up my glue, and then I'm going to drop some more snowdrops over it. And you'll do this on both sides of the pole and for the little bead at the top. And then you're going to want to hang your little snowflake. And you guys, this turned out so cute. You're going to see this at the final reveal. Now the next thing I'm doing is I am taking a long piece of styrofoam that I got from my son-in-law's stuff that he was using, and I cut me out this little shape where I make it into a sled. Now we're going to make sled heel for our little inner tube guy over there. So I've got it all put together. I cut it into pieces, and then I put it together and then carved it where it would be like at an angle for a slope. I hope that makes sense. Now what I'm doing is I'm taking spackling and or the caulk, and I'm filling in the holes. Plus I'm smearing it on there to look like a real snow. Now after I spread all my caulk and got the glitter on there, I am setting my two little people in place. I put a little bit of glue on them and then pushed them down into that caulk. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make me a little banner that goes up at the top that says Sled Hill. Now I took two more of those little beads and I stuck them on my toothpick skewer thing, and then I'm going to slide the little red and white striped poles over it, and you'll see this in a few minutes. This time we'd like to give a special thanks to our subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. We love you bunches. And here we go. And I made a little sign for my hill out of a piece of ribbon, and I used my little paint pen from Sharpie paint marker and wrote Sled Hill on there. Now what you see me doing is adding little trees to my project of various kind and sticking them in to this hill that I made. And we'll see the rest of this at the reveal. Now I got some of these little lanterns from the Dollar Tree with the Christmas Village stuff, and they weren't to the height that I needed them to be to match my village pieces. So I took some pieces of blind and I took those little cubes from the Dollar Tree that are black, that I painted black. I painted them black, and then I'm going to stick the little light post on it. So after I did that, I took all my little light post, and you see how I'm going around the bottom of it with the snow. I need to do this so, one, it covers up the block, two, because it needs to look like natural snowfall. Now, when I get down to the end of my tubes, I always cut them off and scrape out every little bit I can out of it. But we're going to take and go all the way around each one of these and put a little bit of snow on the top of the light itself, and these will be throughout my little Christmas house village. Now, what good is a village or little Christmas houses without a little park? So what I'm doing is I've got a mirror and a little glass plate that I'm going to put here, and this is going to be part of my park. Once I got this all cut out like I wanted it to, there's my little glass plate that is actually from the Dollar Tree, from the candle section, and I painted the bottom of the plate black because I didn't want to see any of the bottom of that foam. So then once I got that done, then I put some E600 and glued both of these down to this. Then after I did that, I started adding caulk, and I started spreading it out and adding some little rocks, because one of these is going to be my skating pond, which will be the mirror, and one of them is just going to be the part where the water's so deep you don't get on it and ice skate on that. I don't have any little ice skaters for this yet, but if I come across them, I will get them. Now we set the park aside to let it dry out, and the next thing we're going to do is start out with our little Dollar Tree doll houses. Now I needed to make my floor level, and how I did that is I took the front of this and I pushed it forward, which caused the front to have an overhang, because we're going to make a porch out of this one. Now because I added that, pushed that forward, I needed to make the back of my house, because I took all of my little houses to include the fire station, the airport, and the construction house, and I put backs on each one of them. So I'm gluing some more of these little blinds to this so that I can paint it all and it looks like it's supposed to be this way. So after I got the top and the sides like I wanted it, I took a box, and this is an old box that had something on the other side that was messed up, so I used it. Now I'm taking, these are two handles off of foam brushes. I cut them down to meet the size of the porch, and then I took and cut a piece for the back. Now I'm going back to my big house, and I'm going to cut out the back for it as well, and then I'm going to glue it in place. Now after I got the pieces cut that I needed, then I was looking at the front, and I wanted to take that front door on the top one, and I want to make a little sign that says toy store on it. And so I'm going to cut a piece of blind, and I'm going to glue, I cut the door frame apart so that I can make a different size sign to cover up that door. Okay, after I got the little sign cut out, then I started gluing the little white pieces down to it, and I had to cut off the little tabs, and there's my little sign for the front of the house. Now what you see me doing is cutting out, I traced the front of the house onto one of my mini blinds, and they're not mini blinds, but you know, the blinds that I've been using. And you're going to take and cut out that shape. And what this is going to do is it's going to create a porch for me on that upper level. Then after I create my porch, I'm going to push it in to make sure it fits like I want it to. And that's going to be the little piece that holds my sign. And we're going to take and glue this in place. After my porch is glued in place, then I'm going to take and glue my little cube that I made that my sign is going to sit on. And I will add some extra glue on the inside of that cube, and this is going to sit right in front of the door, and this is going to create my little space. Now I did put some glue on the inside and outside of that little hole so that when I put my roof on, that little hole is not going to show because I'm going to paint it white. And then I'm going to glue my little toy store sign down. Then after I got the little toy store sign down, I put a piece of dowel rod in there so that it would make the shape, the same shape line of the roof. Now this is air dry clay that I have rolled out, and what I'm doing is I'm cutting it to fit the size of that little piece up there, and I'm going to lay it over it, drape it over it, and glue it down, and this is going to become my roof line and make it look like the other little porch thing does. And after I get that in place, while I'm waiting on it to dry, and that is air dry clay from Walmart. I believe it's made by Crayola, and it was on sale, so I went ahead and got a bucket of it. Now I'm taking and painting all my little doors and my frames and everything that I want to have red trim on it. I'm doing that now. Now after I get each of those little pieces painted, I'm going to take and start putting everything in place. Then I'm going to take and paint my porch white, and I'm going to paint my little clay piece that I added to the top white as well. And then I will trim out around that sign at the top with red as well once this dries. Then after I do that, then I'm going to paint the trim on the roof line and around the top of my toy shop sign. Now I just hand wrote that toy shop sign in there. You guys, this turned out so cute. After I got all that done and I got it dry, then I cut me a piece for the back of my house. Then after I got my piece cut, I painted the inside yellow, and then I'm going to paint the other side. I'm going to cover with white paper with that two-sided tape. Now you guys, these are used boxes. That's the reason why I'm painting and covering everything that I did on these signs or on these houses with this box. Then once I got the front and back taken care of on my board that's going to cover the back, I'm going to take and cut a little hole for my tea light to go in so that I can turn this on and off. And as soon as I got that done, then I went and took and started preparing another piece for my little toy shop house to sit in, and I carved it out just like I did the others and pushed it down in there and glued it down. And I'll put my other little house right beside this one. Once I got this in place, I did go back and add some snow to the top of the house, and add glitter to that, and I even used some glue, hot glue, to kind of make some different kinds of streaks of snow on this whole project. Now on to our next little house. Now what I'm doing here is I'm coloring in that with white marker pen, and decided now just go ahead and get the paintbrush out and paint it. So I painted everything that needed to match, and you guys, this is going to turn out so cute. I'm also taking another one of those pieces for the back of my house to cover it, and I'm going to use yellow paper and the white cardstock. Okay, the next thing I did is I took all my little windows that go to this house and I trimmed them out in black, and that is just a posh paint marker, and I'm going to do all the trim on this house in the black. And then the next thing that I do after painting all the windows and the doors is I put my Crafty Art Shack sign up, because this is going to be our studio in our little village, and I'm going to add some more caulk to this to make it look like snow, and then we'll move on from here. And then I'm going to add some glitter to this, and we'll see this one in the final reveal. Then the next thing I'm going to do is carve out a spot for it on my little foam piece and add some more caulk to the foam piece, and we will see this in the final reveal now. Now we're going to set that aside. We're going to get one of these little birdhouses. Now this one came from the Dollar Tree, one came from Michael's, I think, but the Dollar Tree does have round ones. I just didn't get one there. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and paint both of those birdhouses white. I'm going to take another one of these little houses that I painted white, and I'm going to take the little bricks and I'm going to paint them red. Then after I get that done, then I'm going to take a brown and I think it's called King's Gold, and I'm going to paint with my brush in double dipped, like half of my brush is in the brown and half of it's in the golden color. And I'm going to go through here and I'm going to paint the whole roof line. Now I'm going to go back to my little round birdhouse, and what I did is I took a door that was from the other parts of one of those little houses I took apart that I didn't use, and I painted, or I glued those in place, and then I took some little twigs and cut them, and I added me a little chimney. Now I'm going to paint the roof, and I framed the door out with the little twigs that come from the Dollar Tree, or you can paint them with sticks that come from outside. And then I'm going to paint this roof, and I'm going to trim out everything else. Now after I get everything trimmed out, I go ahead and add a little stick to the bottom of that triangle window that I put in from one of my other Dollar Tree houses. And I'm going to add some snow to all of this and put glitter on it. Then I'm going to mix up a different color brown by using brown and white and paint that all the way around the round part of it. I'm going to paint brown. Then I'm going to paint the bottom part of it green. And if you look over here in the corner, I painted my other little birdhouse with red. And you see where I put the green across the bottom. And then I'm trimming it out with black. Then the next thing I'm doing is I took some black paint and I mixed a little bit of water and a little bit of brown with it. And I'm making these little streaks on the bottom of it to make this little house look more authentic. Now we're going to go over to our other little birdhouse. It's white, and I painted the roof red with the candy apple red. And then I'm going to take my glue gun and make little stripes down the top of this, because I want this to look like a little tin roof when I'm done. When I get done doing that, I paint that back red. Then I jump over to my other little house because I wanted to make some little wreaths. Now I took and popped all the windows in that I trimmed out in brown, and the top ones I left white. Now these are made out of pipe cleaners, and I just put a little green pipe cleaner wrapped around my pinky and then put a red one over it to twist it together. And then all that house needs left is snow. Now this house right here, I've got to put, I don't know why I decided I'm going to paint the bottom of this, but I got to put a door on it still. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of this red glitter paper, and I'm going to make me a little door because I didn't have any more doors left over from the other houses. So I cut out my little door with a little rounded shape at the top, and then I'm going to just hot glue this on. Then I'm going to get me some more of those little Dollar Tree twigs, and I'm going to glue them all the way around the door and trim out the door. Now after I get the door trimmed out, then I'm going to take a little bitty twig and cut it short and make me a little door handle. The next thing I did is I took my black Sharpie marker and I drew little lines all over this, and then I'm going to go back in between those lines and make it look like little wood pieces. And I also glued two of those what are they called, skewers across the door. Now I'm taking my fine Sharpie marker and I'm making the little squiggly lines in between each pieces of the wood. And then I'm going to add snow to this house and a little bit of glitter, and this is going to be so cute. We'll see it at the final reveal. Now this next little house is not a Dollar Tree house. It's just a little house that I found for 99 cents, and I'm going to paint it to be my bakery because I don't have a bakery on my street, and I've got to have one for all those special Christmas cakes and everything else. So I'm going to paint up this little house, add a little sign that says Gingerbread Company. Now how I made my sign hanger was out of a a skewer, and some beads. And then I used a blind and printed off me a bakery sheet off of the internet. Now I mixed up my paint to have the color chocolate, and then I took and put yellow in the windows, painted the different colors throughout the roof and all the little candy pieces that were already on it. And then I painted the brick red, and I added various other colors. Now what I'm doing here is I got one of those little cake things from a long time ago that I found at a thrift store, and I put my caulk in that, and I'm going to add it to the roof in different spots and add glitter to it so that it makes all of this sparkle. And then I'll add my sign, and we'll see this at the final reveal. Now the next thing I did is I printed out me some little cobblestone that I got the image off the internet and printed it out on my black and white printer. And then I'm spreading caulk around, adding my little people in, and this is the second half of the street. And I'm going to take and do the same thing, put more caulk down and spread this out. And again, my little street is made out of paper, and I just glued it down to my styrofoam. And here you'll see where I'm adding in my little Winterfest post and all my street lights and all my little houses. Okay, you guys, today's challenge is the Dollar Tree Christmas House Challenge, hosted by Krista's Crafty Life and Craftastic DIYs. And you guys, there's also a playlist in the description box below of all the other ladies participating in this challenge. Go check them out. And here's all the other places you can find us on social media. And here is that final review. right, y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and this was so much fun for me. I used to do this for years, setting up the Christmas village at the church, and I always had a blast doing it. We hope y'all have had fun here today, and if you're not subscribed to our channel, subscribe so you get to see more fun videos like these. And we'll see you in our next episode. And we'll see you later. Bye. Oh yeah, don't forget, go check out those ladies on the playlist, because they're making some awesome videos along with these ladies that are hosting this challenge. So go check out those ladies too. And we'll see you in the next episode of the Crafty Art Shack. Bye.
Dollar Tree houses, you guys. You can do this. We can do this. We all can do this. Yeah, messed up. And if you're not subscribed to our channel, subscribe, because it helps our channel out. Yeah, I messed up this big time. Just bleep, 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 bleep. Doing it. You guys, yeah, something. Sure. And we'll see you in the next episode of the Crafty Art Shack. Bye.